All right, hey everyone, what's up? A big day in the world of professional wrestling, right? I mean, the last few days have been pretty crazy. We have in AEW Sting becoming a world champion there, his first title belt in AEW. Him and Darby Allin winning the tag team titles, that's huge. 1 month before Sting apparently is going to retire, so we'll see how that plays out. In the WWE world, what is going on there? We now know it's Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the championship, so it seems. The Rock, however, has seemed to have taken Roman's side now and is joining forces with Roman, I guess. But the funny thing is that Roman looks like a lost puppy dog now following The Rock, as The Rock took the reins, no pun intended, in the promo with Cody about the royal family situation with, Roman and Rock's family compared to Cody's family. So that's kind of big. But maybe the biggest news story that I heard today for professional wrestling is that Billy Jack Haynes has killed his wife. Yes, unfortunately, it sounds like Billy Jack Haynes has murdered his wife. He got arrested. And, oh my God, I know Billy Jack Haynes was kind of nutty. I've seen the shoot interviews. I remember that one on RF Video where he had this big announcement that's going to shock the world and destroy Vince McMahon and all that jazz. And the announcement was that Billy Jack Haynes said that the reason why Chris Benoit killed Nancy and his son Daniel was because Vince McMahon was Daniel's father. That was the announcement. And I remember the RF Video guys were just like, what? No, he's not. Daniel looked exactly like Chris. So, I mean, Billy Jack Haynes was a character. No doubt. He was a character. Unfortunately, that character now is, it's made him a convicted killer by the looks of it. I mean, I guess time will tell. I mean, if he clearly killed his wife, so we'll see what comes down for his sentencing when he has to do the court thing and everything. But I thought, you know what? Let's take a look back at the career highlights of Billy Jack Haynes in a positive light today before he became a nutcase, because I do have quite a few magazines with him on the cover. And of course, it starts off with, I got to show this. I've showed it before. Victory Sports Wrestling. There was an actual centerfold of Billy Jack Haynes here with women, 3 women. I guess he was a sex symbol, or they tried to make him out to be one. Anyone who ever watched the soap opera Days of Our Lives, I don't know, I mean, maybe, I doubt anyone on here has watched that, but I did because my mom watched it. So when I was a kid, I remember always being on TV. So I'm familiar with the cast from the 80s and early 90s of Days of Our Lives. And I always thought that Billy Jack Haynes looked like the character that played Bo Brady on Days of Our Lives. And Bo Brady was supposed to be a sex symbol. He had the beard, that look. So I guess that was the look at the time in the 80s for being a sex symbol. So maybe Billy Jack Haynes was one. I don't know. October 84 for Inside Wrestling. Billy Jack makes the cover here. It says, "Can Billy Jack squeeze Superstar Graham out of wrestling?" This, of course, was happening down in Florida. These guys were wrestling each other, having a good feud, a bloody feud at that, for the Florida Championship. And November 1984 of The Wrestler, they really show that with the $50,000 Full Nelson Challenge match. Billy Jack gets bloody revenge against Superstar Graham. So Billy Jack Haynes at this time was kind of being built up as a future main eventer, this guy's got it. That was the impression that they had down in Florida with him. And even in Portland when he was there, he was a big deal. And he became such a big deal that he made the cover of this November 1984 Sports Review Wrestling magazine with Kerry Von Erich as both men holding title belts. Kerry, of course, the NWA World title. And I believe Billy Jack is holding the Florida title there. Now, I'm not too familiar with Florida Championship Wrestling, so I don't know if the Southern title is their main title or if the Florida title is their main title. The only wrestling I've ever seen of Florida Championship Wrestling is when they showed clips of it in the Mid-Atlantic wrestling that I was watching, like when they were showing like, oh, this guy's coming to the territory and here's a brief glimpse of him. So anyone out there, if you want to correct me, is it the Florida title or the Southern title? Which one was the main title? Because clearly Billy Jack has that main title in that photo there from what I believe. Inside Wrestling, March 85, Billy Jack makes the cover again. It says the NWA title, the only one that matters. Yes, Billy Jack Haynes was in the NWA, the Crockett Promotions. Billy Jack Haynes was actually in a Starrcade. He was in Starrcade 85. Him and Wahoo McDaniel were the Florida United States Tag Team Champions. Not to be confused with the Crockett version that came out in 1986. These were the Florida versions. And they wrestled the NWA Georgia. I guess, I mean, I don't know what they were at the time because Crockett owned it. The Georgia, the national tag team titles, right? The NWA national tag team titles, I guess. They're no longer the Georgia national tag titles because Georgia wrestling didn't exist at the time because Crockett owned it. So it was Arn and Ole Anderson defended the NWA national tag team titles against Billy Jack Haynes and Wahoo McDaniel at Starrcade 85. So Billy Jack Haynes, one of the few, and by many few I say because when you think back, there might be 100 men who, and I think it's just men. I don't think women wrestled on both. But oh wait, maybe yeah. I think Medusa did. I think Medusa wrestled at a Starrcade and at a WrestleMania. So yeah, Billy Jack, one of like maybe 100 who have competed both at WrestleMania for the WWE and Starrcade for the NWA WCW era. May 85 of the wrestler, we got Billy Jack here on the bottom saying Billy Haynes versus Kamala, the ring becomes a jungle. And we have Victory Sports Wrestling, Fall 85. We just got a nice shot of Billy Jack Haynes at the top there. And for the wrestler, December 85, we got Billy Jack Haynes being stretched in there by Ravishing Rick Rude. Rick Rude says, I am wrestling sexy a superstar. And maybe that was the feud with Billy Jack Haynes, right? Because clearly he was kind of, I don't know, gimmicked to be a sexy superstar in wrestling. And this is the Wrestler Annual, Spring 86. It says, Ric Flair says, Billy Jack has what it takes to be the world champion almost. So there it is, Billy Jack Haynes. Let's get this as the, I think everyone needs to see that. Billy Jack Haynes, I was never a huge fan of. I wasn't like, ooh, Billy Jack Haynes is wrestling. I can't wait to see it. But at the same time, I didn't hate Billy Jack Haynes because I wasn't like, oh, Billy Jack Haynes is on, I'm going to turn the channel or something, right? Or I'm just not going to watch. I thought he was okay for what he did. I know he had a big WrestleMania 3 moment with the Mighty Hercules. Billy Jack, of course, bladed in that match, got some juice when Hercules pounded Billy Jack in the forehead with his big chain. I mean, that's kind of like the only real feud I remember Billy Jack Haynes having in the WWF besides his tag encounters in 1987 when him and Ken Patera were tagging up to feud with Axe and Smash the Demolition because Demolition hurt Billy Jack Haynes' cousin Brady Boone. And so Ken Patera and Billy Jack Haynes became a team and ended up feuding with the Demolition on house shows or on Primetime Wrestling. And then he left, right? He left the WWF. I believe he went to, I don't know where he went. I don't know if he went to I'm guessing he went back to Portland. I want to say he became a heel in Portland. And I know he was a heel in UWF too, Herb Abrams UWF, because he feuded with Ken Patera there. He was wrestling Ken Patera there. They actually talked about their history too in the WWF together, and then they feuded. And then I know he was in WCW for a cup of coffee under a hood as Black Blood. And Billy Jack Haynes makes history. As far as I know, right now, he's the only wrestler to enter the PWI 500 twice. He entered it as Billy Jack Haynes in 1991, as well as Black Blood. I guess, I don't know, maybe the writers of the PWI didn't know that Black Blood was Billy Jack Haynes. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, he was in there twice in the same year. So that's kind of a weird, dubious award distinction thing to have, right? Like you're in the PWI 500 twice. Technically, I guess it's the PWI 499 that year, since Billy Jack was in there twice. But I know he ended up going to USWA as a heel in 1995. As I remember, he was in the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Super Bowl of Wrestling. I believe he lost the USWA title or Southern title. I forget what belt he had at the time, to Brad Armstrong. I want to say Brad beat him for it in that match, if my memory is there for that. But yeah, and then Billy Jack kind of disappeared, and then years later he came out in these shoot interviews and was saying a lot of weird, crazy stuff. His weird work shoot feud with Hannibal a few years ago was interesting and got people talking about Billy Jack Haynes again. Then he had a really weird haircut for a shoot interview. I don't know if anyone ever saw that. It looks like the Three Stooges style of hair he had on his head. People thought it was a wig, but it wasn't. It was just really weird hair that he had at the time. But it's too bad that Billy Jack Haynes, his career, in his life, just the path of his life turned out the way it did. To murder someone, man, that's horrible. That is. And this isn't like glorifying that at all. This video isn't, like, because I feel so bad for his poor deceased wife, and I kind of feel bad for Billy Jack Haynes in the sense that he did that. I mean, there's been rumors that he's been battling dementia for a while, and I know people with dementia can kind of go off the charts because they're not normal, they're not sane minded, and the concussions he's had over the years is well documented. And I'm sure his mind might be a lot like Chris Benoit's, right? We don't really know what's going through Billy Jack's head. It's just too bad that a guy that looked like he had a career as a superstar for years turned around to be such a weird ending for him. So I feel bad for his family right now who encountered all this, the passing of his wife that he unfortunately shot. And I just hope that best wishes are with anyone in that family who's hurt right now by what Billy Jack did. And I hope that I just hope that the proper verdict goes through for Billy Jack. And if that means he has to spend time in prison, then so be it. He should spend time in prison. If they find out that he has mental issues and needs to be in a psych ward or some sort of thing, then put him there. There's something wrong, right? I don't know. It's just too bad. But yeah, that's the big news story today. Billy Jack Haynes, unfortunately, arrested for murdering his wife. Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to end this now on a happier note. I did get a magazine yesterday. I actually bought it. It's the new PWI Year-End Awards magazine. So yes, I will be doing a video of that. And we'll go through and take a look at who won what awards. And I actually might just do a history of all the year-end awards from 2014 till now. A newer one. Yes, that's right. I collect the newer style magazines. I do, right? It's not just about the old stuff. I still love going and buying the magazine off the shelf every 45 days or so that they put a new one out for me to purchase. So with that being said, until I do my next one, I'll talk to you guys later.